Are you doing what you love? Or do you feel stuck and unchallenged? Do you want to make a living at something you're naturally good at? Do you feel there may be a time limit on your success? The truth is, knowing what the definition of success is for you will help determine your path and your longevity in this business. This is true with all aspects of life. I'm going to share with you my 14 steps for success. These are all steps that I've had to take into account decades ago when I first began my journey in the entertainment space and what they've evolved into to work in today's world. And for young aspiring content creators and filmmakers joining the ranks of the new Hollywood generation, this directly applies to you. All of that and more coming up. Welcome to Hollywood Unapologetic. My name is Orlando Delbert. I wanted to speak a little bit about filmmaking essentials. Orlando Delbert's 14 steps for success and how it applies to the new Hollywood generation. I should mention before we get into it, I first wrote about some of what we're about to touch upon, success in filmmaking in life and how it applies as part of the new Hollywood generation when I was writing Pollyanna's tear-soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and hypocritical. We want to know your questions, comments, and idea suggestions you may have. Please write them below. Leave a thumbs up if you like what you see. Make sure to click on the subscribe button. Click that bell so you don't miss anything. Be sure to check out the videos in the playlist. New to film production? Start here. Be sure to watch all the way through. We're going to speak about a lot of things as part of being prepared. Remember, preparation is a key to you and your project's success. Ready? Although I first wrote about my steps to success about 10 years ago, it's been something I've spoken about for decades. I have strongly believed that you and I can do whatever we put our minds and hearts to. We have to be clear on what that goal is. And in saying that, I want to give you the following steps that have helped me along the way. Go out and do what you love. Go on. If you're not doing what you love to do, find something you love to do. Most people get stuck in a job they never truly enjoy. They felt stuck. They often stay there because financially they felt they needed to. It's a trap because one may find themselves doing mediocre, unchallenging, and unfulfilling work. Find what you are naturally good at. Find a way to make a living at it. If you are not able to do it as a primary source of income, do it as a primary source of self-fulfillment. Find something that will give you satisfaction. It will give you confidence. If you're not able to do it as a living, do it for your soul. One thing, don't put a time limit on your success. Far too many people set goals with caps on them. Why? Does that mean if you don't reach your definition of success in your 20s, that you have failed? If you haven't reached your success in your 30s, you failed? Your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s? Putting a time limit on your success is a trap predestined for failure. It's never too late to begin something you love, and just do it. Although Hollywood starts the weeding out process for many in the early 20s, that is never a reason to give up, ever. Just keep moving forward. Success is designed by having the quality of life you want, not by a predetermined time frame or set of circumstances decided by someone else. It's determined by having a balanced life, everything that can come from it. Health, family, love. Success is also far more than just having some money in your pocket and a nice car. Success for most is having a balanced life. I want you to really give that some thought. You define your own parameters of success, not anyone else. And here's a secret. For many of us, myself included, what our goals may have been when we first started out in this journey are considerably different when we arrive. It's about adapting and the ability to keep pushing forward. Be liked and respected. How nice that is. But unfortunately, especially as you're finding your place in the entertainment world, not both happen. It sucks. It's a drag. But far too many people in this business are not nearly as talented or as exceptional as they pretend to be. And what that means for you, you'll come into contact with others that want to watch you crash and burn. But if you have to choose between being liked and being respected, choose being respected. What that means, do not sell yourself short and always know your worth. Of course, having both is ideal, but not always through life we can have both with everyone. Being respected will go much further in your professional life. Trust me on this one. Make yourself indispensable. Know your worth. Demand your worth. You have to accept situations as they unfold or are presented to you, but strive to be an asset. Strive to be of value. Be the hero. The entertainment industry is littered with sharks in suits and chicken heads on the prowl, all looking for those they could take advantage of. They look for the naive and inexperienced to step on. They steal the livelihoods of everyone they possibly can through intimidation and control tactics. They kill off opportunities for you to make money if they see you as any type of threat instead of an asset. And this last one is quite common in Los Angeles in particular. In the end, they put out the fires behind the dreams of so many. Sometimes people work against you for his or her selfish reasons. Expect it, plan for it, but never make a threat that you are not prepared to back up. You have to have confidence. That helps make you indispensable. Make yourself irreplaceable. Don't hold back, but always tell the truth. One thing I've learned everywhere I've lived and worked away from New York City is that people find us New Yorkers to be rude. People at times are taken aback by our directness and view that as rudeness. In Los Angeles, which is a town where many people refuse to be direct and own their own accountability, are threatened by someone who is direct. And that is because we see their bullshit coming and we'll call you out on it. People are afraid because they don't want to be called into human resources for something that can be petty or what you think is a non-issue because someone else doesn't like it or view your directness as a threat. They rather run to someone else to have administered some type of disciplinary actions toward you instead of having a constructive dialogue to work on something together. These are patterns of the weak-minded and less driven, of those whom have a larger calling, not afraid to stand up for themselves. Stand up and tell the truth, and when possible, have a paper trail to support your case. Don't let yourself become the victim. The entertainment industry has a major dysfunctional element built into it. It's a mindset that allows those higher up in the food chain to have free will to bully anyone and everyone they can. And too often, it's accepted without question. If you don't find the status quo of your peers in Hollywood, you don't work. Difference of opinion on political views, difference on social views, they won't work. They'll be blacklisted. Entertainment is an industry built upon the dreams of many, and most of the slaves who built it will never see their dreams turn into fruition. It's an industry built upon the great facade of a perceived reality, built upon the backs and lackluster egos of the desperate and undirected. This is something I've been saying for decades. The pecking order in this business is determined and often based on greed, arrogance, and poor business ethics. This is a ruthless and unforgiving business not intended for the meek seeking stability. Individuals holding the power often use the meek as cannon fodder. So protect yourself, stand up for yourself, and don't hold back. Don't be the victim. Give it a shot, just go for it. In an industry where tens of millions of dollars are spent on developing programming and tentpole productions, a very high percentage of them fail. Many people within the industry, despite their work history, experience hardships and failed projects, and to some degree, it's expected when you consider the volume of projects floating around town at any given time. But when all that him or her has experienced is failure, it's easy to develop a negative expectancy to the work you produce, and this eventually will trickle down to his or her personal life. You just have to take a step back, shake it off, and begin again. Hollywood doesn't award too often something fresh and new. It's far safer for the studios and networks to reboot something that may have worked decades before because of the financial risk that it's easier to justify. It's an easier sell to potential sponsors and investors, and in some cases even turn a profit before a single frame is even shot. Shake off negativity, take a breath, and keep moving forward. You have to claim a have to be in it to win it attitude and truly believe you're going to succeed. You have to learn from the lessons, successes, and failures of those around you and help them motivate you to go for it. Be flexible and resilient and just go for it, which leads me to succeeding in any area of the entertainment industry most often depends on your perseverance, flexibility, endurance, and will. You can have all of the talent in the world and not get ahead because you lack consistency in these 4 strengths. Whether you're working with a tight deadline, new technology, a weak manager, a hangover, or any of the countless possible things Murphy's Law can shovel at you, how you adapt and overcome can either make you or break you. Having a good attitude and a willingness to be flexible and to let go of things that don't matter will help you to recover from any blows you may get from the negativity mongers out there. Let's slide what truly doesn't matter and keep moving forward. Does my speaking about finding what you're naturally good at make sense? Or my speaking about not putting a time limit on your success? What about defining your success by having a quality of life and balance you want to make sense? If it does, write hashtag NewHollywoodGeneration in the comments below. That's hashtag NewHollywoodGeneration. Have a sense of humor and laugh it off. One thing you'll notice while working in the Hollywood trenches, Far too many people take themselves way too seriously. Everything is about his or her own perceived self-importance and wielding whatever power they have to keep anyone and everyone at bay. Some of it is a safety mechanism. Some of it is wanting to control everyone in his or her proximity. Whatever the motivations and the reasoning behind it, you have to be able to take it all lightly and with a grain of salt. If you're able to develop a sense of comedic timing to counter the constant posturing of others, will help deflect bad intentions and diffuse tensions that may arise. The many weak producers and chickenheads you'll come in contact with see those of talent as threats instead of assets. So much of the attitudes and egos you'll be around are ridiculously comical. Do what I do. Have a laugh at their expense. And treating them with a little kindness as well will surely get under their skin even more. They often feel if you want to work with them, your motives may be to take their jobs instead of simply sustainability. They don't want to hear of your successes. They don't want to hear about your positive lives. And if you're good looking, that may be something else that challenges them. When I hear that you are somewhat miserable, so they feel better about themselves. It's not so much about being negative. It's just some things about you are not so wonderful. They want to hear that you're a regular person. One way to counter all of this is to have self-deprecating humor about yourself. Get in, get a laugh, get out, get paid, keep moving. Make your first impression count. Better believe it. I know you're here over and over again. The only chance you'll ever have at a first impression is your first impression. This is probably one of the most important pieces of advice you will ever hear. In an industry where so much attention is on how people perceive you by what you wear, the car you drive, if you're fit, tall, all that stuff that doesn't really matter in the big picture nor define whom you really are, if your first impression is a miss, you'll be fighting an uphill battle from the get-go. Trust me. Something I speak about a lot is taking the time to research the things you need to help put your timelines together. Meaning someone for the first time in this business of show is no different. If you have a job interview, having a meeting with an angel investor or distributor, or just having coffee with a possible new client, take the time to research as much as you can about those you'll be sitting down with, the corporate culture, and anything else so that you will not only dress in line with what they may expect, but also to help you develop your talking points in the language that best suits what they want to hear. Remember, you're in the business of you. The entertainment industry is just about making money over anything else. The handful of bigots that get media attention are not the majority. Unfortunately, that media attention is enough to fuel a very narrow-minded view of a whole industry. This is not about white privilege or anything else other than about making money, period. A very large majority of the business decisions that are made are based on monetary gains and losses based on a formula that has been followed for decades. As I've talked about in other episodes, the times are changing. The demographic of our country is changing, and it is being reflected in projects being developed. We see that change far more evident in the television world. The reason for that, in part, it's easier and quicker to produce content for television, get revenue from commercials, as well as to determine the direct impact from affiliate fees when the projects go to syndication. That's a huge determining factor I get into in several episodes on distribution. Check out the card above right now. Is it left? By the way, primary revenue stream of television are affiliate fees, a multi-billion-dollar revenue maker. You and I have to pay our dues over and over again. This is something a lot of people don't want to acknowledge or even accept. This is something seen more and more with young people, wanting the world but not continuously putting the work in, nor willing to be flexible to opportunities as they arrive. This mindset makes it easier for others to have a negative influence on you and feed into the high amount of negativity we see today in this world. And thanks to social media, many now have a voice and like to stir shit up simply because they can. These individuals are a far cry from offering any kind of productive contributions to move any issue forward. They just want to entice hatred because it's much easier to do than it is to work for something for everyone's common good. Anyone who may be different in their eyes is all too often seen as threats to their way of life. And in saying this, I have a challenge for you. My challenge to you is if you are concerned about being seen differently within our industry or feel the hiring practices and opportunities are just not available, what are you going to do about it? If you feel the struggle for racial and gender parity in America is holding you back from your success, what are you going to do about it? Part of paying your dues is to create your own opportunities. That is a lesson so many people are very resistant about learning. You and I have to create our own opportunities. Let me ask you this. If you are concerned about the hiring practices of the Hollywood studios and networks, and how inclusive they are to those of different ethnic backgrounds, different sexes and sexual preferences, different religious beliefs, and those with disabilities, what are you going to do about it? You know the television networks and motion picture studios will follow the money. How will you tap into that? All of the points made by so many on these issues, regardless of the validity, miss the simple point. All we need to create are the projects we want, hire the people we want, and base it on the individual's talents and willingness to be inclusive of one another. This should not be based on just someone's ethnic background, their sex, age, sexual preference, the shoe they're wearing today, and the car they drive. Because for us to get beyond this, we have to work as one. It truly is that simple. And creating our own projects or being part of projects that resonate with you not only offer far more control of the message being offered, but are the only ways the studios and networks will take notice and change the diversity and inclusion hiring and project development practices, which leads me to our roles as content creators come with a responsibility. And this is something many inexperienced content creators may not be aware of. Many identify with Hollywood as being the face of America. Really give that some thought. Many cultures around the world identify with the products offered by the Hollywood machine as a strong representation of whom we are and what we're about. So, doesn't it make sense to create the projects and the roles of true substance that are of a positive voice, not just because of any group of people may be considered marginalized by some? To achieve true diversity, we have to encourage one another to be inclusive of one another. And I say inclusive, not tolerant. They have very different meanings. And being inclusive is also having a willingness to have a dialogue that is far greater than just hiring a certain director or set of actors. It also has to do with hiring those behind the camera, the production assistants, the grips and electrical men and women, the writers, everyone. Every member of the new Hollywood generation, yes, this means you too, is of value because of his and her willingness to be part of this inclusive journey. You and I are of value and are part of a larger culture that each and every one of us represents. One more thing. As part of the new Hollywood generation, others just like you are asking the same questions of themselves. You are not alone. We are all in it together. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe and click on the bell to know when we have more for you. And more episodes are coming. Please share with someone you know who may find what we spoke about today beneficial. Like if you like what you see, just like if you don't. Let us hear from you. Are you going to use what we discussed today? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. Please consider what I offered you today and consider what your role is as a new generation of content creators. Feel free to take advantage of other members of the new Hollywood generation community. We're all here to grow together and to help one another. And you know what? If there's a subject that you want to know more about or just want to say hi, please do. These videos are designed to not only offer information to those who want to succeed in the entertainment space, but also of fostering a community of new content creators of a new generation, the new Hollywood generation. We have a strong group on Twitter. Come join the new Hollywood generation and meet some fellow filmmakers and content creators. As members of the new Hollywood generation, take the time to assess what your short-term and long-term goals are. Make your plan, take a breath, go for it. You can do it once you believe you can. Are you ready for the challenge? If you're looking for filmmaking for beginners, Filmmaking 101, and for some filmmaking tips on how to want to be a filmmaker, make sure to click on the subscribe button. Click that bell so you don't miss anything. Looking for how-to filmmaking essentials? Be sure to check out the videos in the playlist. New to film production? Start here. Think of this channel as a film crash course, filmmaking crash course, and an introduction to filmmaking entrepreneurship to build the skills needed well beyond just how to succeed Hollywood and beyond whatever discussions other how-to film school, how-to indie filmmaking in general, how-to film industry channels just don't talk about. The whys you truly need to know to help you grow as a thought leader in life, the entertainment industry, and how it applies as part of the new Hollywood generation is in this video series and in the Pollyanna's tear-soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical series of books, links below. Remember, preparation is the key to you and your project's success. Ready?